Some pretty big changes happened to AQ very recently. Let's check out what they were and what's new with the game with the update from last night. Someone actually asked me to upload a video when VHL finally got the nerf that was coming down the pipeline, and well, here's that video. It got nerfed. Let's talk about it, and also hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I should be saying that at the beginning of my videos more often. So before we get into class balance news, I would like to share with you something that was posted on Twitter yesterday from one of my favorite Twitter accounts. Spider posted on Twitter. Message from Captain Rhubarb. Players can now customize the layout of each of their houses without having to redo each time they switch. Space for placed house items has been increased. There will be a larger space increase later alongside all the other fun house changes. So there are more house changes coming on top of the ones we've had recently, like being able to bank house items and other stuff along those lines. But with the update that they put out last night, you can now save your house items and switch between houses. It is amazing. It is just as good as it sounds. Here is a really quick example of it working out here. So I placed this item in this house. So if I go to edit house, and then I swap to a different one, yes, I'll kick you out. You go back. Oh, okay. Well. Alright, well, it's early days. This was working last time I checked. It says I'm in the IC pirate ship now. Doesn't look like an IC pirate ship. Let me relog really quick. I have now relogged onto the same server, and this is apparently an IC pirate ship. Alright, well, let's swap houses one more time. Maybe that'll fix the issue. So yeah, this one, okay, so you can see I switched to a brand new house, and there's already a decoration placed in this house. I was actually testing with this earlier, and yeah, you can see that there was already decorations placed in the house. That's actually an amazing change. Let's switch back to the original and see if that works. Yeah, you can see the house item is still here. So yeah, great. So it's a little buggy at the moment, it would seem, but I'm sure they'll get those bugs all, ironed out, and this should be really good in the future when those are all fixed up. All right, moving on from the really cool house updates to some cool or not so cool, depending on what class you like using, updates for the classes. Now, I won't go into depth on all of these fully, but we'll take a look at each of them quickly, and we'll see what's changed. So Chaos Slayer, this got a reduction in its output for AoE. Yeah, it got a change to it, affording some quality of life improvements. So I don't really use Chaos Slayer. It's kind of a beginner farming class, similar to Vampire Lord, and it was doing way more DPS than it was intended to. So yeah, good to dial that back a bit. It shouldn't have been as powerful as it was. So yeah, nothing too bad there in my opinion. Chrono Assassin was also adjusted. You can pause the video and read that if you would like, but not really going to go into that. But the one we will go into is Legion Revenant. This one had a massive buff to the class to make it more powerful, better multi-target farming class. So the first and massive buff is they changed the range on all the attacks to infinite. So if there's a monster in the room, you're going to hit it with any of your skills. Really good. They cutting down mana costs on visibility, Wicked Purgatory, max targets went from 1 to 3, and the mana cost got cut in half. Mana cost cut in half from 10 to 6, almost half the cooldown. No longer applies RSAKM. I'm not too sure what that is. If you use Legion Revenant, you probably know. But it also got its mana cost cut from 45 to 20, so more than half. So it just looks like they beefed up Revenant quite a bit. Just whew. On the other side of the coin, you have another farming class, Vampire Lord. Health Vamp was making it really insane. I think there's a video on the subreddit you can check out if you want to see how insane it was. There's a video someone posted there a day or two ago. I think you can still see it on the Reddit there. Check that out if you want to see how crazy it was. It was really overperforming what it should have been doing, to be honest. It was, yeah, pretty nuts. So yeah, they nerfed it down. I tried it and it wasn't as bad as I thought. They only knocked half a second off the slash cooldown on the auto, so not the worst thing in the world for how easy it is to get, even though it is seasonal. But yeah, pretty easy to get class and still performs pretty well in my opinion. All right, this is a big one. So VHL got buffed not too long ago, month or two back. I can't recall exactly, but yeah, it got a pretty massive buff recently. Now it's getting a pretty massive nerf. I saw people were doing calculations of like the DPS and stuff it was doing compared to what it used to be doing, and I think it's around 30-something% less than the buffed state it was in for a while there, until last night when it got the nerf. So pretty massive nerf, and that 30% damage DPS reduction is on top of, just don't quote me on that by the way, the 30%, that's just a number I saw, but that's on top of the fact that they're removing range from both shackle and unshackle, so those are no longer ranged. The class still does have a ranged ability on it, so if you're not a VHL user, it still does have some range to it, so it's not just completely melee combat, which would make it pretty much unusable, but it does remove a good amount of quality of life from the class in my opinion. I'm not going to go through and read all these specifically. You can pause and read them if you want. Range change to melee on those two is like one of the biggest changes you'll actually notice when using the class, I would imagine, along with the DPS just being a lot lower. There was a change also made that you should be aware of on the Abyssal Sacrifice. It now increases all damage from not just physical, but also the other types of damage like magic. So hypothetically, this might be a buff for that in specific situations, but solo DPS, it's a massive nerf to that. But yeah, all in all, pretty sad about the VHL nerf. Is it too much? I don't know. It was heavily overperforming, and it's a lot closer to other classes, other farming classes now. It was overperforming to the point where it was overtaking niches of numerous other classes, and that's not something you want. So it definitely needed the nerf. They removed the range on the shackle and unshackle because people were using VHL as a farming class, so like something similar to like how you would use Legion Revenant, a multi-target class, and it was performing pretty well at doing multi-target farming because of its ranged skills. So it's kind of funny that I don't know. I think if someone wanted to farm a VHL, I don't think they should remove the ability to. I think if you wanted it to, you should be able to. I didn't see a lot of people doing it, but so it at least, you know, in my experience, that's just, you know, anecdotal experience. Maybe the class designers have more numbers to go off of how many people were farming with it, but it didn't seem like a widespread thing that a lot of people were doing. I think they should have just left it there. That's kind of funny that people are actually using it as a farming class instead of something like Legion Revenant. Yeah. But I guess if it is taking that niche away from Legion Revenant, that's not something you'd want. But I'm conflicted on that change, to be honest. I'm not 100% for it, but I can kind of understand why it was done. And yeah, it's just other various DPS nerfs there. That's enough VHL talk. Yami got a buff if you're a dodge class user. I had some people on the stream telling me like, yo, Yami actually does decent DPS. Well, I never see people really like picking it for a boss fight, but usually people will go with support class or VHL or something like that. But hey, there's some Yami users out there, and you know, shout out to you guys. You guys got a pretty decent little buff here for your class, so hopefully you enjoy that. Moving on to Chaos Avenger. This got a nerf, and I'm not too big of a fan of it. I'm not as negative as I was maybe after thinking about it for a while longer, like, you know, thinking about it over time, but it's still not the greatest thing in the world. It might have got nerfed a little bit too much, but I think removing they already did nerf it pretty big time with the focus nerf, with that not having a lot of uptime on it. So yeah, they changed it some more. You can read that if you want, but it still does an alright amount of DPS, more than Lightcaster, if you're wondering if it's better than Lightcaster or not. Not better than VHL, not by a long shot, this thing, Cast Avenger. I saw some people saying in a longer fight, Cast Avenger is actually pretty close to VHL now. So, with the VHL Nerf and, you know, how this class scales. So that's pretty cool, actually. But, yeah, anyway, some changes to that. I'm not too for it, but it is what it is. Alright, Dragon of Time. This class needed a buff. It needed it for, looking at my wrist here, probably a whole year now. But it finally got it, so that's good. It deserved the buff, needed it, didn't have it. People can take it out of their banks now. Pretty decent. From the numbers I was seeing from other people, not from my own tests, I don't know why. I was using the right combo. Tried out both the healer and wizard enhancement. Maybe I'm using the wrong all enhancement that other people are using. Let me know what all enhancement you guys use on Dragon of Time. I was using Spiral, and I might not be the one that you should be using when it's All Blast or something like that. I don't know, but you can see here the one thing that really they removed some endurance off the class, but basically everything else is just making it so it can do more immediate damage. Like it's just speeding up the damage. Yeah, it's just speeding up the damage it can do. Basically, just making it a better farming class. But on top of being a good farming class, I saw people doing some pretty crazy. I didn't try it in solo myself. I only tried this farming, and it seemed like it was doing a pretty good job at farming, but not like anything crazy. Wasn't blowing my socks off or anything, but it seems like it was pretty decent at it for, you know, as you'd expect from a class that takes as much time as it does to farm. But in solo, it actually solos very well. So if you have Dragon of Time, give it a go for soloing. Actually really surprisingly good at that. So try that out if you have Dragon of Time. Not something I've ever used Dragon of Time for, but it was doing really well. It might be better than even something like Lightcaster there for soloing. So changes to focus were made. These were made on both Chrono Commander and Naval Commander. I think those are the only two classes I can think of that had focus, but they changed the skill in which focus was applied on, and they also reduced the focus time to 4 seconds on both of the respective skills. So that's just an all-around nerf for focus, the same kind of nerf that Chaos Avenger received. So that just brings it to where you'd have to actually time out your focus now instead of it having full uptime. So yeah, it just brings in the line with all the other classes. So yeah, this whole balance patch is basically just to bring classes all a bit closer and a bit more closer to their intended targets for where they want them to be with how hard they are to farm. So not the greatest changes in the world, not the worst. I think it's a pretty all in all, it's a pretty alright balance patch. You know, Vampire Lord wasn't hurt as much as I thought it was gonna be, to be honest. So it was gonna be kneecapped quite a bit harder there. Legion Revenant, surprisingly pretty good buff. It's actually more than I expected. Same with the Dragon of Time. I expected a very small, very like tiny Dragon of Time buff. They might actually nerf this in the future. That's kind of how good it is. So yeah, it might actually be worth farming Dragon of Time now if you haven't farmed it already. And I started farming VHL when they buffed it originally. I will probably continue to farm it still just to have it, you know. So I've already done more than like I'm like 2/3 or more than 2/3 of the way through the farm. Yeah, more than 2/3. But yeah, it's not the greatest thing, especially the range. But anyway, if you missed the Friday event and are not up to date, there were 2 different things added on Friday. One was the birthday feast, Celestial birthday feast, if it's not the current active event. These 3 NPCs or the 4 NPCs actually here, will give you quests, and the quests will give you items. Pretty cool items actually from all of them. Really like the helmet there with the ears. Yeah, it's really sick. So there's some pretty decent stuff, color custom armor in there. So come here, check it out. Actually took me like an hour and a half, 2 hours to get all the drops from the Kataro one. It's the only one I've done so far. I actually need to come back here and farm some of the other ones. I want the armor from the Arlette one. Definitely. And I definitely want the helmet from the Mehmet one. So definitely a few drops I do want to pick up from these. So check them out. The descriptions tell you where to do the quests and all that. It's pretty self-explanatory. You don't really need a walkthrough for that, but yeah, pretty cool looking armor. Some knight's hair. It's pretty cool looking hair. Yeah, just some all-around good stuff. The Kataro outfit and the hairs and stuff in here is just woo, something you'd expect to be in like a 10k chest, but you know, they're giving it out for free, so take advantage of that. This hair is a fully color custom. You can actually change the color of the bottom part independently of this little top piece, and the hair itself is color custom. Ears have an animation on it. Yeah, it's really sick. Definitely pick it up. Pretty low percent drop. It's seasonal rarity if you're curious about rarity on it, but you know, grab it before it's gone, because maybe you'll see it, you'll want it for a set and you won't have it. Battle pet's really cool, although that does require membership. Got some pretty funny animations on it. The plush is cool because you can kind of hold it like that, hold him by his t-shirt. Yeah, it's just all around really good outfits there, so go check that out. All right, so I didn't know this, but you need SDKA, Sepulture's Doom Knight something armor. Yeah, you need that. You need it. I got the acronym wrong, but oh well. Look it up. You need that armor. That armor requires membership. So, but you can get to the end of the quest line without it, and there is still a reward at the end of the quest line. I didn't get there yet. It took quite a while to go through it, and I was taking my time. So, yeah, some people it took a lot less time. Yeah, I was taking my sweet time. Oh yeah, you also need just the small loan of 20 million gold. So, yeah, gold farming, fun. So this is one of the rewards. It's a 50% more humans. Keep in mind you need SDKA for this. So yeah, I think you can get the armor without the boost on it, without it from a shop. Yes, you can. The armor comes from the shop. This is a shop that you unlock when you complete the quest line. You don't have to fully go to the end for it. But you have Void Red Blade, which looks kind of weird. I don't think that's actually what Void Red's blade looks like. His helmet looks pretty accurate from my recollection. Cape's looking all right. And you also get a little pet. That's a neat touch. Cool. So yeah, you get all that for just finishing it. If you actually finish it, you get the undead armor, as well as a altar of Void Red, which actually looks really cool. It's a really cool looking house item, to be honest. I kind of want it, but you need SDKA to get it, as far as I know. So yeah, look into that if you want to get those rewards. And that was all that was added this week to AQ. I actually don't think there was any like shop items added, like any AC things, nothing to buy. So kind of just a free update, you know, completely. I'm sure there'll be a 10k chest later in the month that'll make up for it. Don't you worry. But yeah, pretty cool little update. Not even anything to buy, so just a bunch of free armors and some things to farm if you have SDK. So yeah, look into that if you do, and if you don't, then you can farm it anyway. If you want to unlock that shop for the armor, not too bad of a deal in my opinion. Actually, I think they should give you like a 35% damage boost armor or whatever for just finishing the quest line, and then if you actually have SDK, you can get the full fat 51%. I think that would be a better solution, but you know. Anyways, a little bit of more just a video talking about the update and all that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you did, let me know in the comments. Maybe I'll make more of these on Saturdays after the event's over. If you don't catch the live stream, maybe you want to catch a I guess it won't even be that short of a video, but catch a more concise video than checking out the streams on what was added. So hopefully this helps you out if you did, or you just enjoyed listening to me talk about the update. Leave a like if you did, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye bye. Oh yeah, if you want to see me testing out Vampire Lord and Dragon of Time, I did that on the stream yesterday, so check out the VOD there.